You know, there's some stadiums that aren't just places to watch sports, they're full-scale mini cities. So for today's video, I'm gonna count down 20 of the most massive sports stadiums in the world. Starting with number 20, Tokyo Dome City. The Tokyo Dome City, it is one of the clearest examples of a sports stadium turning into a small city of its own. I mean, look at this. In the middle of Tokyo's Bunkyo Ward, the complex built around Tokyo Dome, a covered baseball stadium, it can host 43,000 spectators for baseball and about 55,000 for concerts and special events. It's the home of the Yomiuri Giants and a regular venue for major baseball games and international sports and even large-scale music performance. What makes it feel like a mini city, though, is everything wrapped around the stadium. The wider Tokyo Dome City complex has an amusement park with roller coasters, a Ferris wheel, and other rides, all packed into a dense urban block. There's L'Aqua Spa, a shopping facility built around a natural hot spring with baths, relaxation areas, and fitness facilities. And on top of that, the site includes the Tokyo Dome Hotel, multiple event halls like the Karakuen Hall and the Tokyo Dome City Hall, bowling lanes, game centers, and a long list of restaurants and cafes. For visitors, it functions more like a neighborhood than a single venue. You arrive in the morning, watch a baseball game or a concert at Tokyo Dome, then step straight into an amusement park, grab dinner in one of the many restaurants, spend time in the spa, and maybe stay overnight in a hotel without ever leaving the complex. And the transportation links here reinforce that mini-city feeling. It's ringed by 4 major train and subway stations, which connect directly to the rest of Tokyo in a matter of minutes, and on game days or during big concerts, crowds will flow in multiple lines, the way they would for a central business district. Even on normal days, locals use the restaurants, shops, and spa as if it were just another city, not just an add-on to a stadium. Baseball season brings in the regular home games, and the Dome has other sports, combat sports, and international events, and the amusement park stays open with its own schedule, and spa and shopping facilities run daily, of course. All of that mixed together, people keep coming at all hours for completely different reasons. So in practical terms, the Tokyo Dome City works as a self-contained entertainment and leisure district wrapped around a sports venue. It's got enough variety to feel like a small city built under the shadow of a single stadium roof. Number 19, Truist Park. Truist Park is home of Major League Baseball's Atlanta Braves. It was designed from the beginning as the centerpiece of a much larger ballpark village. The stadium itself seats over 41,000 people and opened in 2017 in the Cumberland area of Cobb County. It's about 10 miles northwest of downtown Atlanta. Instead of being dropped into an existing downtown, it was paired off with a purpose-built mixed-use district called the Battery Atlanta that turns the ballpark into the anchor of a functioning mini-city. The combined site covers dozens of acres, and development materials describe the Battery as a $400 million project that's attached to the $600+ million ballpark, with plans for about 630,000 square feet of office space, 500,000 square feet of retail, and roughly 450 hotel rooms and around 500 residential units. Different sources do quote different exact acreages, some around 57 acres for the immediate ballpark and Battery site, and others around 70 to 75 when additional parcels are included, but all agree that this is a large urban footprint for a single stadium district. On the ground, the Battery Atlanta includes apartments and condos, the Omni and Aloft hotels, office buildings, a cinema, a concert venue, and a long list of restaurants, bars, and shops. On game days, those streets will fill with fans moving in and out of the stadium, but on non-game days, it still draws people for meals, live music, movies, and work. Financial reports from the Braves ownership show how much this district behaves like a city-scale business. The Battery generates significant rental and hospitality income, and recent figures describe millions of square feet of real estate and hundreds of residences. On paper, Braves Holdings sometimes looks as much like a real estate company as a sports team, because the scale of the district wrapped around the stadium is just too huge. From a fan or visitor perspective, you don't just go to Truist Park to watch 9 innings of baseball. You might arrive hours early to eat, shop, or meet friends in the plaza, watch the game on outdoor screens, then stay late at the bars, live music spots, or the cinema. You can live, work, dine, and go to events all within the same connected zone. And in that sense, Truist Park and the Battery Atlanta are more than a ballpark with some nearby shops. It operates like a self-contained urban neighborhood. Number 18, SoFi Stadium. SoFi Stadium in Inglewood isn't just a football venue either. It's the anchor for the Hollywood Park, a master-planned neighborhood that functions like a small city wrapped around the stadium. Now, the stadium itself seats about 70,000 for NFL games and can be expanded for major events. It sits on the former Hollywood Park racetrack site. It opened in 2020 as the shared home of the Los Angeles Rams and Los Angeles Chargers. The wider Hollywood Park covers about 300 acres, and it makes it one of the largest urban mixed-use projects in the western U.S. But what makes it feel like a mini-city is everything's layered around the stadium. Hollywood Park is planned to include up to roughly 5 million square feet of office space, 890,000 square feet of retail, and as many as 2,500 new homes, along with a 300-room hotel. Parts of this are already open and operating. There's creative office buildings, a cinema, restaurants, a brewery, and the YouTube Theater, a 6,000 indoor seat venue integrated under the stadium's canopy. There's a 12-acre park with an artificial lake here too. It's often nicknamed Rivers Lake, and it adds public green space with walking paths and water features. This whole area is designed so people can live, work, and spend their free time without leaving the district. Residents in new apartments and townhouses can walk to the offices, grocery and retail stores, bars, and entertainment venues. The idea is that Hollywood Park remains active every day, not just when there's a game or concert. After the game, many will stay for concerts, watch parties, or simply to avoid the post-game traffic by spending time in restaurants and bars. Because the site's so big, the circulation routes, the plazas, and they're all landscaped areas laid out to handle tens of thousands of people. Long-term, this development is intended to support a mix of daily neighborhood life and major global events like the Super Bowls, World Cup matches, and the Olympic ceremonies. Hollywood Park shows how a modern stadium can be built as the heart of an entire mixed-use district. The stadium is the centerpiece, but the mini-city around it is what keeps the place alive when there's no game on the schedule. Number 17. The National Stadium in Kallang. In Singapore, the country's main sports venue has been turned into an entire sports and leisure district that functions like a compact city. The 55,000-seat National Stadium in Kallang is the centerpiece of a 35-hectare complex now branded as the Kallang. Previously known as the Singapore Sports Hub, the project cost in the range of $1.3 billion, and it was built as a public-private partnership to replace the old National Stadium and create a year-round sports destination. Around the stadium, the site packs in multiple major venues and facilities. There's the existing Singapore Indoor Stadium, an enclosed arena with around 12,000 seats, and the Aquatic Center, which has an Olympic standard pool and seating that can be expanded to about 6,000. Nearby, the arena houses indoor courts for sports like basketball, badminton, and netball. It's a dedicated water sports center on Kallang Basin, offers kayaking and canoeing too. All of this is connected by promenades, running tracks, open plazas, and waterfront paths. This mini-city element comes from the way the sport is blended in with everyday life. The complex has Kallang Wave Mall, an integrated shopping center attached to the National Stadium. There's also a sports museum, a dedicated sports library, and a cycling-focused retail and exhibition space. There's also a separate entertainment and retail complex, Leisure Park Kallang. It sits next door with a cinema, ice rink, and more dining and shopping options. For many locals, this district is an all-in-one place to exercise, shop, eat, and attend events. People come to run on the public track that circles the stadium, swim at the aquatic center, take fitness classes, or cycle along the waterfront, then just grab food at the mall or nearby hawker-style outlets. On major event days, the same public spaces, though, are used for fan zones, viewing areas, and pre-event gatherings. Even the bus routes and taxi stands are built into the circulation pattern, helping to move these large crowds in and out without shutting down the surrounding neighborhoods. Over time, the Kallang has evolved from just a stadium project into a full sports and lifestyle district. It offers multiple arenas, a large mall, museums, and daily recreation. It's all centered on the National Stadium. In practical terms, it operates like a mini-city dedicated to sports and entertainment and everyday leisure, with enough variety that people can visit even when there's no event on the schedule. Number 16. Busch Stadium. In downtown St. Louis, Busch Stadium doesn't sit on its own. It's embedded in a planned neighborhood called Ballpark Village that was built specifically to turn the home of the Cardinals into a full-time destination. The stadium itself has over 44,000 seats, and it opened in 2006, replacing the previous Busch Stadium next door. Just beyond the outfield, though, on land once occupied by the old ballpark, the team and its development partner created Ballpark Village. It's a mixed-use district that's grown into a genuine mini-city around the ballpark. The first phase of it opened in 2014. It was roughly a $100 million, 150,000 square foot complex filled with bars, restaurants, and event spaces. And from many of these venues, fans can actually see into the ballpark, tying the district directly into the game experience, even for people who don't have tickets. The second phase dramatically expanded the footprint. A $260 million, 700,000 square foot build-out added a 30-story residential tower with nearly 300 luxury apartments, plus a 10-story office building, a Live by Lowe's hotel, a fitness club, and additional restaurants and retail. So altogether, the ballpark village now spans several city blocks, and when fully built out, it's going to include around 1.1 million square feet of commercial space, plus hundreds of residential units. Day to day, it behaves like a neighborhood in a simple pre-game zone. People live in the apartment tower with direct views into the stadium. Office workers commute to jobs in the nearby high-rise. Hotel guests stay on site for games, conventions, or downtown tourism. And the restaurants and bars operate year-round, and the Central Plaza has watch parties, concerts, and seasonal events. Financial and planning documents describe it as a 24/7 neighborhood rather than a game-only project, and it's become a model for sports-anchored mixed-use development in other cities. The team benefits from real estate and hospitality income, while the city gains added tax revenue and more people living and working downtown. For fans, the effect is straightforward. You can arrive hours before the first pitch, eat, drink, shop for merchandise, and watch other games on giant screens in the bars and plaza. Between the stadium capacity, the apartment tower, the hotel rooms, offices, and retail, Busch Stadium and Ballpark Village together function less like a standalone venue and much more like a compact urban district built around baseball. Number 15. Chicago's Wrigley Field. Chicago's Wrigley Field. It's one of the most famous ballparks in the world. But over the last decade, its surroundings have been reshaped into something that looks and behaves like a small city. At the core of that transformation is Gallagher Way, a mixed-use open space district built immediately west of the stadium as part of a broader Wrigleyville redevelopment. Gallagher Way centers on roughly 40,000 square feet that functions as a public park and town square. On non-game days, it has farmer markets, exercise classes, and movie nights. On game days, it turns into an outdoor fan zone with live broadcasts, music, and gatherings before and after Cubs games. The idea is that the area is active throughout the year, not just when the team is in town. Around the plaza, there's one key structure. It's 1101 West Waveland, a 6-story mixed-use building that includes office space for the Cubs front office, additional offices for other tenants, and retail and food beverage spaces on the lower levels. There's another major anchor here. It's Hotel Zachary, a 7-story, 170-room boutique hotel directly across from Wrigley, offering rooms, restaurants, and bar spaces that stay busy well beyond the baseball calendar. The mix of uses is what makes it feel like a mini-city. People can stay in the hotel, work in the offices overlooking the ballpark, socialize in the bars and restaurants, and attend events in the plaza, with or without a ticket to the game. This new district doesn't replace the urban fabric. Instead, it adds a more structured year-round focal point right at the edge of the ballpark. The Cubs partnership announcement explicitly described Gallagher Way as a town square for neighbors, fans, and tourists, and the event schedule reflects that goal. That makes Gallagher Way feel less like a parking lot-anchored stadium complex and more like a natural extension of the city and transit stop. Taken together, the historic ballpark, the new hotel, offices, retail, plaza, and nonstop programming, Wrigley Field and Gallagher Way are more than just a place to watch baseball. It's a compact, mixed-use urban district built around one of the sport's most iconic venues. Number 14. AT&T Stadium. AT&T Stadium in Arlington. It's already one of the largest and most technologically advanced sports venues in the U.S., but it becomes much more city-like when you factor in the larger ecosystem that surrounds it. The stadium has about 80,000 seats for Dallas Cowboy games that can be expanded to over 100,000 for major events. But the key to this mini-city identity is how it operates in connection with the Star in Frisco, a 91-acre mixed-use campus that functions as the Cowboys' headquarters, training facility, and urban center all in one. AT&T Stadium sits in the heart of Arlington's entertainment district, surrounded by restaurants and hotels. The area draws visitors year-round for tours, college football games, and concerts. Within the stadium walls are art installations, multiple full-service restaurants, a large team store, luxury clubs, suites, and meeting facilities. But the broader mini-city effect is clearest at the Star. It's located about 30 miles to the north. The Star is the Cowboys' official world headquarters, and it includes the Ford Center, a 12,000-seat indoor stadium shared by local high schools. Around the sports facilities is a full mixed-use district, 2 more hotels, more than a dozen restaurants, retail areas, a medical center, convention-capable indoor event space, and much more. The Star Boulevard and the Central Plaza here have weekend markets, fitness classes, holiday events, and watch parties. Office towers on site house major companies unrelated to the Cowboys, so it means thousands of people work in what is essentially a sports-anchored business district. AT&T Stadium and the Star effectively operate as 2 linked hubs. Between the stadium's daily tours, events, and concerts, and the Star's offices, restaurants, residences, and training facilities, the Cowboys have built something way more complex than a sports venue. Together, these sites behave like a small metropolitan district centered on professional sports. Number 13. Allegiant Stadium. Allegiant Stadium is home to the Las Vegas Raiders. It's part of a rapidly developing stadium-centered district that behaves like a compact, high-density urban zone. The stadium seats around 65,000 and has NFL games, concerts, and college football, and has large-scale special events like Super Bowl 58 and major music residences. It's located just west of the Las Vegas Strip. It was intentionally placed within walking distance of one of the most concentrated entertainment corridors in the world, allowing the stadium and Strip to operate as a shared ecosystem. The key to the stadium's mini-city feel is the way that it integrates with the surrounding development. The Hacienda Avenue pedestrian bridge funnels tens of thousands of people directly from the Strip towards the stadium, effectively linking it to hotels, casinos, and restaurants and shops. For the visitors there, this makes attending a game feel similar to entering a large urban plaza. Fans will walk from giant resorts through retail corridors and over a pedestrian bridge straight into the stadium. Large gathering areas like the Coors Light Landing and the Twitch Lounge function as social hubs here. The retractable side wall overlooking the Las Vegas skyline creates an atmosphere similar to a downtown district, and it kind of blurs the line between stadium interior and city environment. Mixed-use projects, additional hotels, sports bars, and retail spaces have all opened or are planned within walking distance. Game days transform the entire area. Restaurants and casinos adjust their staffing and programming for fan surges. Streets convert to pedestrian zones, and transportation hubs, including rideshare lots, shuttle routes, and monorail connections, operate with the same intensity as a metropolitan event district. From the visitor perspective, though, it feels like one continuous district, not separate locations. Because Las Vegas already functions as a 24/7 city, Allegiant Stadium just naturally plugs into that urban engine. It's become an extension of the city's existing tourism infrastructure, effectively creating a sports-centered micro-city that's tied directly into the broader Las Vegas ecosystem. Number 12. Gillette Stadium. Gillette Stadium is home to the New England Patriots and New England Revolution. It's the centerpiece of a development that was intentionally designed to operate a bit like a small city. The surrounding district, known as Patriot Place, stretches about 1.3 million square feet of mixed-use space. It's got retail, dining, entertainment, offices, a hotel, medical facilities, and gathering areas, all directly connected to the stadium. Patriot Place opened in phases beginning in 2008. It transformed what was once a traditional stadium environment surrounded by parking lots into a full-service commercial district. Today, you can shop at national retailers, eat at dozens of restaurants, visit a multi-screen movie theater, play at an indoor entertainment complex, or walk through public plazas that host year-round events. It also includes a Bass Pro Shop outdoor megastore, which alone draws a significant number of non-game day visitors. One of the most unique additions here is the healthcare presence. Mass General Brigham operates a medical center here, an outpatient facility within Patriot Place, complete with imaging services and sports medicine. There's also a 4-star Renaissance hotel on site, allowing people to stay directly within the stadium district, as well as a large convention and event space used for weddings, conferences, meetings, and year-round functions. Because the stadium sits at the center of the property, all of Patriot Place functions as both a pre-game and a post-game gathering area. Foot traffic will move along a central spine of walkable streets and terraces, which gives the development the feel of a downtown main street, just one built around an NFL venue. Even outside football season, Patriot Place is active. Residents of nearby communities use the restaurants, they go to movies, visit the medical facilities, or even attend fitness activities and outdoor markets here. So as a result, Gillette Stadium and Patriot Place together form a year-round commercial and social district, one built around a stadium but functioning independently whenever the Pats aren't on the field. Number 11. Oracle Park. Home of the San Francisco Giants, Oracle Park sits at the edge of the bay, and it anchors a rapidly developing waterfront neighborhood that increasingly looks like a mini-city. The surrounding district, known as Mission Rock, is a major mixed-use project jointly developed by the Giants and the Port of San Francisco. Although still growing, it's already transformed the ballpark environment into a multifaceted urban zone with residences, towers, parkland, and retail integrated into a unified district. Even before Mission Rock broke ground, the ballpark did act as a catalyst for the revival of the South Beach and China Basin areas. Restaurants, cafes, and breweries popped up along the waterfront to serve the game day crowds, as well as local residents. Public promenades along McCovey Cove turned the ballpark into an everyday area. People visit when no game is scheduled, and they walk the waterfront or watch boats gather along the cove. Now, Mission Rock expands on that idea. The development covers about 28 acres directly across from Oracle Park and includes residential towers and office buildings. Thousands of residents will eventually live in this district, and major companies have already moved into the new office buildings, bringing a daily population that's entirely independent of Giants games. The Giants' involvement, though, in land use, planning, and long-term development ensures that the stadium and neighborhood operate in tandem. But on game days, the entire waterfront is like an urban festival zone. Food trucks line the sidewalks, nearby restaurants fill up, and crowds spill into Mission Rock's plazas before walking across the short bridge to Oracle Park. From a pedestrian perspective, this whole area from South Beach Harbor to Mission Rock feels like one continuous district that's centered on the stadium. The ballpark, though, functions as more than just a sports venue. It's got open concourses, rentable spaces, and rooftop gardens. And because of its waterfront setting and walkable surroundings, many people treat it like an everyday public destination rather than a site used only during baseball season. In effect, the ballpark acts as not just a sports venue, but the anchor for a thriving mixed-use neighborhood that draws people morning, afternoon, and night, year-round. Number 10. Lumen Field. Home to the Seattle Seahawks and Seattle Sounders FC, Lumen Field sits at the heart of Seattle's Stadium District. This is an area that functions like a compact urban zone. The stadium itself seats around 68,000 for NFL games and over 37,000 for MLS matches, but the surrounding neighborhood is what gives the area that mini-city identity. It's located just south of downtown and adjacent to T-Mobile Park. The Stadium District will blend sports, transit, industry, nightlife, offices, and residential life into one environment that stays active year-round. Lumen Field connects directly to multiple light rail stations, commuter rail lines, ferries, and interstate highways. Thousands of fans arrive on foot from Pioneer Square, one of Seattle's oldest neighborhoods, and it's filled with apartments, restaurants, bars, cafes, and offices. Even on non-event days, the area remains busy with office workers and tourists. Surrounding the stadium is a blend of businesses that operate independently of the sports. This constant flow of non-game-related activity keeps the district alive throughout the week, and Lumen Field's event spaces have trade shows and conventions, bringing in visitors who use the local hotels, restaurants, and attractions. The North Plaza and Occidental Avenue act as a district social spine, but before events they function like pedestrian boulevards packed with fans. Afterwards, they feed people directly into Pioneer Square in the International District, where the nightlife picks up. These two neighborhoods supply everything a small city would need: residences, grocery stores, yoga studios, office, parks, bars, restaurants. It means visitors will move seamlessly between stadium life and city life within minutes. The Sounders team store, the Seahawks Pro Shop, and several adjacent retail spaces stay open throughout the week here. The stadium's iconic canopy roof design doesn't just amplify the crowd noise, it creates a distinct silhouette. That, along with nearby T-Mobile Park and shipping cranes on the waterfront, form part of Seattle's recognizable skyline. This constant mix of sports, business, and entertainment is why the Stadium District feels less like a stadium and more like a small city built around one. Number 9. Wembley Stadium. Wembley Stadium is one of the most famous sports venues in the world, but the surrounding redevelopment, known as Wembley Park, has transformed the area into an urban district. This modern stadium, completed in 2007 and seating 90,000, is the largest in the UK and remains the national venue for football. But it's the district around it that makes Wembley function far beyond match days. It's a multi-billion-pound regeneration project that's turned the former industrial land into a dense neighborhood of apartments, offices, and retail streets. Thousands of people now live in new residential towers surrounding the stadium, with more apartments being completed each year. The district has the London Designer Outlet, that's a major shopping center with dozens of restaurants and stores. Hotels like Hilton and Novotel sit beside the stadium, filled with event day visitors and year-round corporate travelers. The public spaces are designed for massive crowds and everyday use. Olympic Way, often called Wembley Way, is a monumental pedestrian route lined with trees and public art, and on event days it becomes a river of fans. On non-event days, it serves as a promenade. On event days, up to 90,000 people will flow through the transport networks and restaurants here, creating the atmosphere of a festival. Concerts, NFL games, boxing events, and community celebrations fill the calendar. On ordinary days, thousands of residents shop, dine, and attend school here. With its growing residential population, large retail base, and constant cultural programming, Wembley is far more than a sports venue. It's an urban district with its own rhythm. Number 8. The Melbourne Cricket Ground. The Melbourne Cricket Ground is one of the most iconic stadiums on Earth, but what truly sets it apart is the district wrapped around it. The MCG sits at the center of Melbourne's sports precinct in the suburb of East Melbourne, an interconnected cluster of stadiums, arenas, and parks. The MCG itself seats around 100,000, and it hosts cricket, Australian rules football, international tournaments, and major global events like the Olympic Games in 1956 and the Commonwealth Games in 2006. Immediately adjacent is Melbourne Park, home to the Australian Open. That complex alone includes John Cain Arena, Margaret Court Arena, outdoor courts, training centers, restaurants, plazas, and media hubs. The Olympic Park Oval, AAMI Park, which is a 30,000-seat rectangular stadium, and multiple sporting headquarters, including those of Australian national sporting bodies, sit in this same district. Joggers, too, and cyclists cross the pedestrian bridges. School groups visit the National Sports Museum inside the MCG. Tennis players train at Melbourne Park. Soccer and rugby teams practice at AAMI Park, and members of the public use the footpaths and gym facilities. On major event days like Australian Open Finals or the AFL Grand Final weekend, the flow of people through this precinct resembles a city center during rush hour. Wide pedestrian boulevards, multi-level access ramps, plazas, and bridges guide tens of thousands of people through the area. This whole sports precinct is home to media studios and sports science facilities. Several professional and national teams base their operations here, and it creates a working population that uses the precinct daily. With offices, restaurants, green spaces, event venues, the MCG sits at the heart of a huge ecosystem, one that behaves not as a single stadium, but as a complete self-sufficient, sports-focused urban district. Number 7. Olympia Park. Munich's Olympia Park is one of the best examples in the world of a stadium operating as part of a fully developed urban microcity. Built for the 1972 Olympics, the district was designed from the beginning to be far more than a group of sports venues. Today, the Olympia Stadium and the broader Olympia Park together operate as a mini-city that remains active every day of the year. The Olympia Stadium itself seats around 70,000. It's known for its iconic sweeping tensile roof, which is an engineering landmark that spans the stadium, the Olympic Hall, and surrounding concourses too. But the stadium is just one element of a much larger district. Within walking distance are the Olympic Hall, used for concerts and sporting events, the Olympia Schwimmenhalle, an indoor aquatic center, the Olympic Tower, which is a 291-meter observation and communication tower, and the Olympic Village, now permanent housing. Locals use the running tracks, the bike paths, and rowing areas for dog walking, picnics, and even festivals. The Olympia Berg Hill, constructed from the war rubble, provides panoramic city views and is popular for hiking and winter sledding. Meanwhile, the Olympic Hall and Olympia Stadium together host major concerts and athletic events. Even when no large-scale event is happening, thousands of people visit the area daily for leisure or tourism. Olympia Park is also a cultural center. Museums, art exhibitions, and temporary installations draw huge crowds. Food stands, beer gardens, which is great, and seasonal markets give the district a lively, village-like atmosphere. More than 50 years after its creation, Olympia Park still functions exactly as intended, not as a cluster of stadiums, but a self-contained city within a city, alive at all hours and in all seasons. Number 6. Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium sits in the middle of one of the densest urban environments of any major sports venue. What makes this one function like a mini-city is the massive ecosystem of transportation, commerce, parks, schools, businesses, and daily life that surrounds it, most of which operates independently of baseball. Now, the stadium itself, of course, seats around 47,000. It opened in 2009, replacing the original 1923 ballpark just across the street. But the larger stadium district gives the venue a role far beyond hosting games. Immediately outside Yankee Stadium is a network of businesses that serve thousands each day. River Avenue and 161st Street form a commercial corridor loaded with sports bars and restaurants. Many of these businesses run 7 days a week and rely just as much on local residents and commuters as they do on baseball fans. Yankee Stadium even has its own Metro-North Railroad station, which is a rarity for a U.S. stadium, which connects to the Bronx directly to the Manhattan suburbs and upstate communities. Bus routes, bike lanes, parking garages, and pedestrian plazas all converge on the area. And just north of the stadium is the huge Heritage Field Park complex. This green space occupies the land where the original Yankee Stadium once stood. But the new stadium itself contains restaurants, museums, and meeting spaces, like lounges and a Hard Rock Cafe, even with its own street entrance. Add in the courthouses, the police facilities, the schools, and apartment complexes, and it defines the surrounding blocks. Yankee Stadium is at the center of a highly active neighborhood, and it behaves more like a small city than the area around a single sports venue. Number 5. The South Philadelphia Sports Complex. The South Philly Sports Complex is one of the clearest examples of multiple stadiums and entertainment facilities operating together as a functioning mini-city. Instead of a single arena or ballpark, this district contains 4 major venues: Lincoln Financial Field for the NFL, Citizen Bank Park for the MLB, and Wells Fargo Center for the NBA and NHL, plus the Xfinity Live Entertainment Hub. Together, they anchor a huge urban campus that draws millions of people every year. On weekends, it's common for multiple events to take place at once: an NFL game next to a concert at Wells Fargo Center, and a baseball game happening across the street. The area's got sports bars and restaurants, outdoor stages, beer gardens, event plazas, and viewing screens. Fans will gather here before and after the games, and the venue remains open year-round for concerts and festivals. In effect, it operates as the downtown of the complex, like a central marketplace and social hub. The Wells Fargo Center hosts dozens of concerts, college sports, conferences, and family shows. Lincoln Financial Field is used for soccer matches and large-scale concerts. Citizen Bank Park frequently has outdoor festivals, and corporate offices for teams and entertainment companies further add a daily working population. On an event weekend, the complex will support tens of thousands of people simultaneously. But even outside the park's peak times, the Wells Fargo Center and Xfinity Live and training facilities draw visitors, workers, and local families. In effect, the South Philly Sports Complex isn't a stadium surrounded by parking lots. It's a concentrated entertainment metropolis designed to sustain the activity and energy of a city built entirely around sports and large events. Number 4. The Rio de Janeiro Olympic District. The Olympic District of Rio de Janeiro is one of the largest multi-venue sports zones. It's known internationally as the Olympic Park, and it functions more like a small purpose-built city than a stadium. It's anchored by venues like Estadio Nilton Santos, often called Rio's Olympic Stadium. The district was designed for the 2016 Olympic and Paralympic Games, but it continues to operate as an environment with arenas and public plazas. Within the park are major venues like the Olympic Aquatic Stadium, the Velodrome, the Tennis Center, the Olympic Arena, which is now used for sports and concerts, and large open public squares originally designed to handle crowds of 200,000 plus people during the games. Surrounding the venues are a web of transportation routes and bus corridors. A dedicated bus rapid transit line connects the Olympic Park directly to other parts of Rio, and this means thousands of people pass through or near the district every day, treating it like part of their broader commute rather than an isolated event zone. The velodrome here is used regularly by cycling federations, and the tennis center has tournaments, camps, and training sessions. Even the large outdoor esplanades built for massive queues and ceremony crowds now functions as flexible public areas. Security teams, event organizers, and athletic trainers all share the same footprint, giving the area a mixed-use rhythm. While Rio's Olympic legacy has faced some challenges, the scale and layout of this place remain unmistakably city-like. It's one of the clearest examples of how an Olympic investment can shape an entire neighborhood into a functioning urban district centered on sport, recreation, culture, and everyday life. Number 3. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham Hotspur. It's one of the most advanced sports venues ever built, but what makes it worthy on this list is the extraordinary zone that surrounds it, a district that now functions as a genuine urban ecosystem. The stadium seats over 62,000 for Premier League matches and can convert seamlessly for NFL games, concerts, or boxing events. However, the broader redevelopment around it is what creates a mini-city environment. It was designed as the centerpiece of the North Tottenham Regeneration Project, which was a multi-billion-pound redevelopment effort. The project has new apartment buildings and refurbished high streets, improved public squares, and commercial zones. Multiple blocks of Tottenham High Road have been redeveloped with new shops, cafes, and restaurants. The stadium complex itself is far more than just sports seating. Inside are premium clubs, restaurants, cafes, microbreweries, event halls, and offices. Many of these operate independently of the match schedules, like the Skywalk attraction, a rooftop climbing route that brings visitors daily, while the stadium's underground NFL-certified artificial turf system allows it to host international American football without interrupting Premier League operations. Around the stadium, new public squares like the massive South Plaza supports markets and community festivals. During Spurs matches or NFL games, those spaces become open-air fan zones filled with thousands of visitors and street vendors. The club's long-term development plan does include some additional offices and a new hotel. Local business, training academies, and Tottenham-based educational programs operate in partnership with the club. What emerges is a hybrid environment, part world-class sports venue, part entertainment district, part local neighborhood, and part commercial center. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium doesn't simply host events, it's an anchor for a growing urban zone where thousands of people live, work, and shop. Number 2. The SoFi Stadium. Camp Nou. It's always been one of the world's great football cathedrals, but the SoFi Stadium redevelopment transforms the entire district into one of the most ambitious stadium-centered mini-cities ever attempted. Even before redevelopment, the area around Camp Nou operated like a dense urban ecosystem full of shops and cafes. But the new project expands this into a true multi-use city zone. SoFi Stadium is a multi-billion-euro master plan covering roughly 26 acres, an enormous chunk of the Le Court district. It includes a complete transformation of Camp Nou itself, expanding capacity to nearly 105,000. Surrounding it are several major facilities, each functioning like a district within a district. A new complex home to basketball, handball, roller hockey, and futsal will become a new multi-modern sports arena capable of hosting year-round events. But one of the biggest drivers towards a mini-city identity is the commercial dimension. SoFi Stadium incorporates extensive retail and dining zones. The FC Barcelona Museum, already one of the most visited museums in Spain, will be expanded into a major cultural attraction, which will draw millions of people each year, regardless of football schedules. Office towers here, located in the redevelopment, will house the club management and media teams. Those buildings will bring hundreds of daily employees into the district too. Add to this the shops, restaurants, and maintenance facilities, and the site is constantly hosting a working population. On match days, the district will transform into a city within a city. Tens of thousands of fans will be moving through wide public squares and pop-up markets. In essence, SoFi Stadium elevates Camp Nou from a large stadium to an urban engine by merging sport, culture, and commerce, and the precinct will operate continuously morning to night, weekday and weekend. And when complete, it's going to stand as one of the most comprehensive examples of a modern stadium functioning like a mini-city. Number 1. Beijing Olympic Green. Beijing's Olympic Green, it's anchored by the National Stadium, famously known as the Bird's Nest, is arguably the most complete example of a world of sports district operating as a genuine mini-city. Built for the 2008 Olympics, this precinct was designed from the very beginning, not merely as a collection of venues, but as a fully functioning urban zone. The Bird Nest itself has around 80,000 seats. It hosts athletics, football, global ceremonies, and concerts. But the stadium is only one landmark within a huge 27-acre Olympic district, the size of a medium city. Directly adjacent sits the National Aquatic Center, the Water Cube, that was later converted into the Ice Cube for curling, the National Indoor Stadium, the Olympic Sports Center Stadium and Gymnasium, outdoors tennis facilities, training fields, and the expansive Olympic Forest Park, which alone covers more than 1,000 acres of green space. This park feels so city-like. It has lakes, wetlands, running trails, and bike paths, all of which are open to the public year-round. Bridges, boulevards, elevated walkways, they make it function more like a giant urban park system than a temporary Olympic landscape. But the urban life here extends beyond recreation. The green includes transportation hubs, as the Olympic Sports Center subway stations and major bus corridors. They were designed to move hundreds of thousands of people during the games, but now they serve daily commuters. The venues here collectively attract millions of people annually, even without any major sporting events. Restaurants and cafes, retail shops, and visitor centers operate throughout the district. But one of the most defining features is how the district blends monumental architecture with civic infrastructure. Wide central boulevards like the Olympic Axis are designed like ceremonial avenues, but they're used by thousands of people and cyclists. The Bird's Nest and Water Cube, they anchor an urban landscape that feels purposeful and fully lived in. The nighttime brings large light shows, performances, and guided tours, and that creates a feel of a cultural city center. Today, Beijing's Olympic Green is one of the world's most successful examples of sustainable post-Olympic use. The Bird's Nest may be the visual icon, but the mini-city around it is what defines the district. It's a living, breathing urban ecosystem, operating at a scale and complexity unmatched by almost any other sports stadium on Earth.